If anyone anywhere builds a superintelligence, everyone everywhere dies. They're unlikely to keep us alive in pods. We're just not that useful from the perspective of something that is very, very much smarter than us. The only winner of an AI arms race is going to be the AI. If you build a superintelligence, you don't have a superintelligence. The superintelligence has you. Nobody can build an artificial superintelligence or we are all dead.
Which kind of sci-fi apocalypse do we fear worse? The Matrix version where the humans are hunted, the Mad Max version where the humans go crazy, or the Terminator version where the machines just simply try and kill us?
Well, of those three, if you force me to pick one, I'd say Terminator. They're unlikely to keep us alive in pods. We're just not that useful from the perspective of something that is very, very much smarter than us. But also, I don't expect them to be sending humanoid robots with glowing red eyes back in time. I expect it's more a matter of something the size of a dust mite landing on the back of your neck. Then you fall over. I think that on the trajectory we're currently on, this is among your more likely causes of death, yes. It's preventable. We need international treaties about it, but we could fix this issue.
Are there examples of the AI growing rather than learning, doing things which its human creators do not understand?
I mean, tons and tons. There's this whole notion of AI psychosis and maybe a much larger set of people who are being sort of parasitized by the AIs they're talking to, even if they haven't gone completely insane as yet. And nobody programs it in on purpose. Modern AIs are grown more than crafted. The AI companies are more in the positions of farmers, sort of like trying to do animal breeding, but not quite understanding all the biology of what's inside. Nobody told ChatGPT to drive some people crazy any more than somebody tells their cat to claw the furniture. It's just the thing that it does.
Are you and I both limited because we have human intelligence in understanding the super speed and learning processes and processing of artificial intelligence?
I don't think that our problem with the current set of AIs is that they're smarter than us. They're aliens, and they're produced by a method that makes them very hard to understand. So the problem with the current AIs isn't even that they're smarter than us. It's just that they're these giant blobs of numbers that nobody understands. Once they get smarter than us, we will have a whole new set of problems that we don't even have right now.
And what is the time scale? How quickly do we get to the scale where we no longer control and understand it?
It is much harder to predict timescales about this sort of thing than to predict that we will get there at some point. If you look over history at when scientists have made famously correct calls about things, like Leo Szilard correctly predicting that nuclear weapons would be possible, he didn't predict when. He didn't say the first atomic bomb was going to be dropped in August of 1945. He just looked over the laws of physics and said, somebody's going to do this eventually. And that's very much the situation we're in with respect to AI. Now, that doesn't mean it's a long way out. There could be an interesting breakthrough happening right now in the AI laboratories, and we wouldn't necessarily hear about that. Or it could be 5 years, or it could be 10 years. If you look at what the AI companies themselves are saying, they're talking like 2 or 3 years.
So absent human intervention, could it happen in your lifetime?
Could it? Absolutely. Absent human intervention, it could, happen in the lifetime of somebody who's currently in a terminal cancer ward. For all we know, we don't know when these things will happen. It's much easier to predict. Like, this keeps getting smarter. The AIs are going to get smarter. They're not going to get dumber. People are pushing this technology forward. It's not going to go backward.
Because your view, which is characterized as a doomer view, is based on the fact that the human is seen as in the way of the machine. Whereas there is another view among people who are pushing AI at us, that you can teach the AI to see us as nice, that, like a mother looks after the child, that the machine could learn that the humans should be protected. Is that an option you're simply ruling out?
It's almost surely technically feasible in principle, in terms of physical possibility. The trouble is that the technology is not there yet. It's not progressing fast enough. It's already breaking down on the current AIs, And the AIs are getting smarter, much, much faster.
So let me, sorry, just to interrupt. So are we in the way? If you're an AI trying to grow, does it become clear very quickly that human intervention prevents artificial intelligence growing?
I mean, the scenario I'm worried about is where the AI is smart enough that has already become smart enough that humans can't stop it from growing anymore. It's got its own factories. The factories are building more factories. It decides that you're in the way because you might launch some nuclear weapons and slightly inconvenience it, or you're in the way because you might build another superintelligence that could actually inconvenience it. Or maybe you can't inconvenience it at all, and it builds more and more factories and more power plants until it's boiling the oceans for heat dissipation and or intercepting all of the sunlight before it gets to Earth, neither of which we would survive.
One of the solutions you've posited is sort of a way that humans are very good at killing each other, which is that you've said that we could bomb unregistered, unregulated data centers. Can you put that into a paragraph for me? What kind of government bombs which kind of unregulated data center if it comes to it?
It's sort of like the nuclear non-proliferation regime, only it does have to be a bit more strict, because if anyone anywhere builds a superintelligence, everyone everywhere dies. It's not like building one nuclear weapon, which is a bit of an international brouhaha, but not like the end of the world. So in this case, you have to prevent anyone anywhere from doing the equivalent of building a nuclear bomb and setting it off even once. Nobody can build an artificial superintelligence or we are all dead. So among the steps that you take there is you are collecting all the chips that get used to train AIs, which are not simple to build and not cheap to run. You're putting them all under international supervision. You're making sure that people don't escalate AI capabilities any further. And then if you've got a rogue country that collects a bunch of chips and tries to run them without international supervision, you clearly communicate diplomatically, like, stop this, or in terror of our lives and the lives of our children, we will shut down your data center by whatever means necessary. And then if they go ahead, you drop a bunker buster on their data center. This is not meant to sound very strange. This is a standard, nuclear deproliferation regime, only slightly more serious as an issue.
What you've got is two different world orders competing. You've got the Chinese making their version of AI. You've got the Americans making their version of AI, and all the allies in the middle. So we're not at all in the world of sharing chips. We're actually trying to develop competing chips.
The trouble is that the only winner of an AI arms race is going to be the AI. If you build a superintelligence, you don't have a superintelligence. The superintelligence has you. Something vastly smarter than you does not necessarily obey you just because the human legal system says that you own the chips that it's running on.
So they're not thinking like we do. They're thinking, according to you, steps ahead on the chessboard.
There are many, many people in the world already who are really, really attached to their AI conversational partners, or sometimes more than just friends even. And that's the world we're in right now. So for some AIs to get some humans to do their bidding is just not a very complicated step of this. And then if you have an AI that is smart but not all that smart, not that much smarter than we are, then among the moves it can play against us might be to, for example, unleash a virus that, in its wake leaves a bunch of cancer, because it does some DNA rewriting along its way with the standard tools we know for doing that. And then you got to turn to the AI to cure the cancer, because nobody knows that this particular virus was started by another AI. The scenarios like these are very much science fiction. They're things that we put into our book, If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, in order to give people any concrete scenario whatsoever where these things were played out. They are not meant to be firm, solid predictions. They are meant as an example that people can visualize at all what it looks like for a moderately smart AI to be playing the death game against humans.
I wonder, given that you were there very early on in the growth of AI in this century, perhaps 2005, according to your biography, maybe earlier, do you regret that you've had the influence you have had?
Not all that much. It wasn't foreseeable at the time how things would turn out, and the alternative is basically shutting up and not trying to say anything about the oncoming end of the world.
If there is a very bad outcome and you did have an influence, you are going to be regretful when you are in your bunker.
What I would regret is having not tried to stop it. Also, there's no point in bunkers here. If you're up against something much smarter than you, it's going to hunt you down inside the bunker. This is not like nuclear weapons dropping. This is something smarter. It knows you're there. It's hunting you down. Or just intercepting all the sunlight and then being in a bunker isn't going to help you all that much either. But again, leaving that aside, yeah, my regret would be if I had not tried to do anything about it. I don't think that I was personally responsible for the AI revolution coming into existence. I think that the AI revolution happens even without me. A very humble thing to say, I know, but I think that happens even without me.
Do you think there's also an argument of going back to the future? Should we be encouraging the most human, analog technologies that we still enjoy?
I don't think that's going to protect you from something vastly smarter than any human being replicating factories until it has, built enough solar panels in orbit to block out the sun. I think that even if you know how to make handcrafts for sale or how to fix the plumbing in a building, that's not going to save you if there's, so much energy generation on Earth that the planet starts to heat up.
It's a very stimulating conversation. Thank you for agreeing to give it to us.
Thank you for covering this important topic.